Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Welcome in, everyone. New feature for the podcast. We are now video. So this will be interesting. I hope you all are enjoying seeing us instead of just hearing us. You may want us to go back the other way. I don't know, but we'll see. So welcome into the Red Out Podcast. Do what?
Two ugly dudes talking tops.
That's right. Two average Joes. That's what I was thinking the other day. I was like, I could change the podcast to the average Joes, the not fans, or something like that. And I got my Skittle water, and
there you go.
Ready to talk some Western sports. So I guess first off, WKU has announced the 2024 football schedule. What did you think of that schedule so far, Matt?
Let's take a look at it. I think it's actually I thought it was pretty competitive. And with key pieces coming back, I mean, I guess it gives you a chance if you have some great luck and everything to have a solid strength of schedule. Things go right like this year where there were not very many teams that really could make a case for the New Year's Six. I mean, you get one thing you got to have is strength of schedule or a schedule you can run the table with. Obviously, you have Alabama.
Yeah.
So that's unlikely to be any kind of opportunity, but Nick Saban's gone. And then Boston College is interesting. I don't think we've ever played Boston College. So that's just kind of an interesting game. And Toledo's a solid group of five. So I think it's an interesting schedule, along with the Conference USA schedule as well.
Yeah, that Toledo game's at home too. So
yeah.
Let me move my notes over here so I'm actually facing you instead of looking off to the side. Yes, Alabama actually is, I think, a chance to run the field for Western. Nick Saban's gone. We're going to have a new head coach. I don't know who that is. Maybe Mike Sanford, but we'll have to see.
The new Alabama coach. It was the guy from Washington.
Habraw. Oh, it is. Okay. I haven't. I don't do Alabama except I don't love my cousin, so I don't follow Alabama. So
Roll Tide,
baby. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, of course, and something else that was kind of pointed out was that there we go, is that the home games are all even while the away games are all odd.
That's true.
Funny.
I don't know if I've ever seen a schedule exactly like that where it literally alternates game by game, home away.
Yeah, that was funny to me. It's very OCD, and I don't know who did that, but that's very funny.
Very balanced.
Evidently.
Line of symmetry.
So Boston College, have they done anything in the past 20 years?
No, not really. Yeah, was it Doug Flutie or something? Did the miraculous Hail Mary or whatever?
I think you're right. I think
that was Boston College. That was their last big moment.
Exactly. I'm trying to shut my door.
That and having the honor of losing to Western Kentucky in the NIT a few years ago. That was a big moment for them.
Yes.
The famed Diddle Arena. You're welcome.
Yes. I mean, but honestly, who was the biggest name they've had in the past 20 years?
They had a QB that was a big name. I'm pretty sure. Which I hadn't thought to look that up. Boston College. Let's see. They had Well, Zay Flowers was a big player for the Ravens this year.
Okay. I was like, the only one I can think of is Lamar. Wait a second. Here we go. Oh, I got a
AJ
light.
Dillon. They actually have some names in here. Let's see. Harold Landry. I guess was he Boston College? That's interesting. He plays for the Titans. I recognize his name. I didn't realize he was Boston College.
I didn't either.
I feel like they had a big QB. Matt Ryan, that's who it was. Matt Ryan, 2008. He
Bam.
was Boston College.
Okay, you
Yusuf
got that. Yeah.
Raji, they had some big names, but they haven't. Luke Kuechly was another big one. He's a huge, big time linebacker. So they have some players. They just
Yeah.
I don't think they've done much as a program.
I
Uh,
don't I don't think so either. I mean, they haven't I couldn't tell you the last time they've been to a New Year's Six bowl. I mean, it's just kind of like, nah. It's kind of like Nebraska or Miami back in the 90s. Like that's the last time they've actually been relevant. So, or Indiana football. So,
yeah, let's see. Let's see if they got like a season by season thing here.
trying to get it to pull up on my computer and it's not.
Yeah.
It just keeps loading. So,
So they've been
um,
about 500 since 2006, it looks like.
okay.
Um, Tom O'Brien was 75 and 45 from 97 to 06. And then in 2007-08, they were pretty good. That was when they had Matt Ryan. And then
Yeah.
since
Which,
then, they've been about 500 or less with every coach. So not super strong tradition of late,
yeah.
but an
There we
interesting
go.
opponent nonetheless.
Yes. Very interesting. And, sorry, I'm trying to get there we go. I just need my timer so I can keep up with, what's going on. And so we can do didn't mean for everybody to see it.
Yeah, we're
Gosh.
experimenting. Hey, it's
Okay.
all good.
So
You know
yes,
what?
this is
We'll look back at this episode and laugh.
that's all I can do right now. So we'll turn that off. Okay. All right. So anyway, so yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting. Having Alabama first game of the year coming off their attempted college national championship and losing their head coach. We got Boston College, like we were talking about, and then the midweek games start October 10th versus UTEP, and that is a home game this year. So it's not going to be at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night for East or West or Central time. So that'll be interesting. And then we've got Sam Houston State on the 16th. And of course
Kennesaw
we've got a
State, new
yep.
addition
And
to Conference
I
USA.
was gonna say we've got the bye week, and then October 30th, WKU is going to be facing Kennesaw State at Bowling Green. I think it was funny to me that out of the 5 new additions, that is the fourth team to play in Bowling Green. I didn't really realize that, but I mean, I guess I didn't think about it, but that's only number 4. So who would be the fifth who has not played in Bowling Green? Jack State?
I think so because they're playing here this year. I
Okay.
believe we played at Jack State, I think. Yes.
We
Because they
did
were
last year, yeah.
crazy and it was at their place.
Yeah, they beat us, 17-10 or something awful. Like it was a horrible game.
Yeah, we were up and then they just came back and steamrolled us in the second half.
Yeah. And actually, I did not realize this until I read the article that Fletcher did for the Towel Rack, is that FIU got left off the schedule.
Oh.
Yeah. FIU, we've got 10 games. Obviously, we have 10 opponents. We've got two, more than two out of conference games. And FIU has been omitted from the schedule. That is the third time since 2008 that's happened.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah, I mean, that honestly, that's kind of a crappy draw for Western because FIU football sucks.
yeah,
I mean, you
it's
take,
kind of a gimme.
yeah, like somebody is going to end up not having to play Liberty. You
Yeah.
know, like who lucked out on that one? Like obviously
Yeah.
that helps shade things in the right direction for you. You're pretty much going to have a guaranteed loss if you play Liberty or one of the upper end teams.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going to be rough. Uh, maybe we'll see how Liberty is this year. They could be they could be going down, they could be going up. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of speculation going into spring ball, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, they have a lot of people transfer out. So, I
Yeah,
mean, might be an opportunity. Western, once again, seems to have done a pretty good job keeping who they could for the most
yeah,
part. We obviously Corley and Reed are gone, but I mean, you've got viable options,
yeah.
coming in and staying. So people come back from injury. So I'm interested to see it. We'll see if
It could,
maybe we can make a move towards Liberty a little bit.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. And I mean, we'll just have to see how Western is coming into this season. Finley could be a star, he could be a bust. I don't know. We could be going Bell Camp in the fall. I don't
Caden
know.
Belt
We'll just have
Camp.
to see.
And
Yep,
yeah, I
they'll be
can't
going.
believe they done recruited over Caden. Now sophomore, and I don't understand. If you want fans in the stands, then
Jake
you
Omer.
you
Oh,
should.
sorry. Bell Camp.
I mean,
Uh,
come on, people. I don't know. We'll see how
you got to
that
have competition.
checks out.
Friendly
Yeah,
competition ain't going to hurt nothing. It's
and
completely fine.
they also brought in another freshman 3-star. I'm scared of him. He might jump over Caden too.
So, speaking of draft stock, Malachi Corley, his draft stock is going up. And
Big time.
honestly, I had a viewer or a listener send me a little bit of the podcast from ESPN's first draft from Mel Kiper talking about Corley.
Okay.
And I mean, he is having some correlations going on over there. He is loving it. I was pretty excited. I mean, especially to hear about one of Western's guys doing so well, and you know they're picking him second round ish. So he's what 33 to 64 or something like that. I'm just
Yeah.
doing quick numbers.
Mhm.
The highest draft pick we've had so far was Forrest Lamp. He was picked 38th in 2017.
Yeah.
Matt and I was just talking about this. I tried to see how high like Coach Fikes had been picked when he was drafted by the Giants. I can't find it anywhere. So if anybody can find that, just send that over. I'll take a look at it. I looked it up in the 52, 53, and 54 on the Football Hall of Fame. And I don't know because of his preseason injury if they were just like, try again. Or maybe he was a free agent. I don't know. And they just got the details wrong that he wasn't drafted. I don't know. That's history as far as I'm concerned. But if one of our listeners can find that, that'd be great. But Forrest Lamp was drafted in the 38th pick in the 2017 draft. And as you know, where is he now?
He was with
He was with that lighting company, I know, but like football
Lamps,
wise.
Lamps Plus.
Yes. Um, looks like 21 to 22, he was with the Saints.
He
So
was
I don't
with the
know.
Saints. I feel like he went somewhere else. It says he's a free agent.
He was released October 25th of 2022.
Bills,
So
Saints. Yeah, okay.
he's out there somewhere. I hope he's doing well. I hope whatever he's doing, he's enjoying it. So yes, but what
Did
was
you
that a
ever
few years back?
did you ever
What?
meet him?
No, I did not. He was post Devon, so
Okay. He was a
AB.
nice kid, a nice guy for real. I really hope he's doing well. He was always approachable. He always wore socks with like the
Crocs.
socks with Crocs. No, I forget what kind of shoe it is, but it's like a black sandal. So it was like
Oh,
just
like the slides or something.
yeah, I think it was slides, yeah. And because Brandon Dowdy always talked about him wearing his socks and slides. It was just kind of a funny look. Like that was just
It is. It is.
definitely laid back, like not super fashionable, but definitely Forrest Lamp. look.
That's funny though. That's really funny.
No matter where he went, non-football, it was white socks, like up to his knees and slides.
I will. Yeah, I think that, but that's like an offensive lineman thing too. Like I don't know. There's several offensive linemen that would just wear socks with slides or whatever because it was just comfortable. Um, Baseball is going to be firing up soon. Baseball and softball. There's been a lot of interviews with Coach Raridan, and I really don't follow baseball, so I'm sorry, guys. But we've got, yeah, I know I'm awful, and I fully admit it. I have no problem admitting that because I have no interest in baseball.
You
I
just
played
wait
baseball.
until the magic of Mark catches fire on the hill.
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting. Like
You're gonna
some
tear
people
when we in the
just
College World Series.
that'll be fine. And when
Would
we
you
do, I
poop
will
your
make.
pants?
Would I poop my pants? I would probably anyway. But hey,
Hey,
no judging, no judging. We don't judge here. But so
I'm
you
judging.
know,
I'm just saying.
baseball. You stop playing that judgery do. But anyway, they baseball's starting off. I hope they do well this season. They've got a lot of new kids coming in, and they had several leave last year, and
Yeah. I
it's
wonder if we
it's
can
interesting.
wonder
It's
if we can touch on
interesting.
that.
We've heard murmurs of it, of the reasons, but I haven't heard anything said about it at Western for sure. Western is not a place to talk about that stuff. They're not going to talk about it, whether it is true or not. So
I think it's
I've
I
tried to
think
get
it's
somebody.
good.
I've actually tried to get people to go on the record and say, "Would you come on and talk about it?" And they won't talk about it. It's just like it's gone. They're
Which
gone. They
people?
don't even talk anymore. Which
Can you name
people?
names of people that wouldn't go on the record?
Well, there was no. But no, they honestly, there was a lady who had messaged us on Facebook and was talking about it, and I was like, can you give me some other names to corroborate, what you're saying, and blah 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 blah. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Zilch. So, it's one of those things. It's whatever.
I did want to
You
touch I
you
did
wanted
want
to
to touch
touch.
on the baseball stories that Fletcher put out through
Okay.
the towel rack, and was just kind of like kind of what we're talking about. Western has been oddly nearly radio silent on the baseball front for
Hmm.
some reason.
Mm.
Could be, I don't know. Um, could be that they covered up scandal, whatever. Anyway, no, but I mean, there was some like weird, and this was public information. There was like some weird comments from players' parents and some of the people that kind of got uh kindly removed from the team.
Hmm.
There was some oddball things going on behind the scenes last year with Coach Raridan and stuff. So anyway, I guess it's good strategy. The WKU's kind of said nothing and just let the season come up on us, and now it's time for baseball, and hopefully we put all this in the past and whatever the
Yes.
distractions were. Hopefully everybody landed softly where they landed as far as the transfers, and maybe we'll have a good roster and have a good year. However, I do
Yes.
kind of question if he perhaps doesn't have as much success if this is going to come back to bite him with how it was handled a little bit as far
Hmm.
as removing the players from last year. So, because we only returned what, like 8 people or something? It's something like ridiculously low.
Yeah,
Um,
and
the
I
roster.
think that was some of the talk was that he may or may not have done as well as he did because it wasn't his players last year.
Hmm.
That was his talk, and I mean, Mike Sanford had 2 years to get his guys, and he didn't do so well. So this guy could do well. I'm not saying, but I mean, like, Petrino had 1 year and he was back to Louisville, and those weren't his guys. So I'm just saying, maybe it's a different sport, maybe it's whatever, but you can have success and you don't have to run everybody out of town. But we'll see. We will see. Well, we can watch and see how everything goes down with Western and all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
So
So
when does baseball start? I know it's within the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Let's see.
how would I
February
know this?
16th, week and a
There
half.
you go. February 16th. Let me
Yeah.
see here. Yeah,
We'll
the
start out with
like
Bradley,
okay,
and
sure.
then yeah, I got it pulled up here.
Yeah, I was
We
like I'm
typically
working
play
on it.
teams like Lipscomb. We play UK during the week, things like
Yeah.
that. We do have West Virginia for some reason has agreed to come to Western March 1st through the 3rd and play 4 games. So that's a huge
Wow.
opportunity for us, including a doubleheader on March 2nd. Then you got like Bellarmine. So a lot of times in baseball, you have these regional teams like Austin P and Eastern and whatever that you kind of play, every once in a while during the week to just kind of have a quick game. Milwaukee comes to Bowling Green, Austin P, like I said, Southeast Missouri State. We play in Missouri, Southern Indiana again, midweek game. Then we get into Conference USA play. And the Conference USA baseball is very good for those that don't know. Lots of
Yeah.
good teams. We play Vanderbilt later in the year. We play Murray. Dallas Baptist is always going to be probably the favorite in Conference USA. Louisville later in the year. Um, Looks like we've added USI as kind of a opponent, Southern Indiana. That I don't think we've played them very often in baseball. UNC Asheville is randomly in the middle of May, but
Hmm.
not a Conference USA series, so I don't know how that came about. Um, that might have been commented on. I really don't know. But that's a random series to have late in the year.
Yeah, that's interesting though.
But
Um,
looks like a solid-ish schedule. We'll see how they do in it.
Now on the softball side of things, Western is going to be playing. Dogs getting restless in
Is that
the
the dog?
NFCA Leadoff Classic. First game is against Missouri State, and that'll be February 9th. Iowa Army also be playing, and NC State and Kansas will be in those. And I'm assuming they're playing like a round robin best of because they've got all four, one, two, three, four, five. They've got all five of these teams scheduled. So it's not tournament style to my knowledge. It's just round robin, best one gets it. So I thought it'd be that's kind of interesting. They're going to be playing Kansas in this invitational, and then they'll be going on February 16th to the Chattanooga Chattahoochee. No, I'm kidding. It's called the Chattanooga Challenge. They'll be facing North Alabama, Chattanooga, North Alabama again, and Murray State and Ball State. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as those games get closer to time. Well, next week will be the 16th, so we'll be talking about that next week and kind of updating you on how the challenge, how the NFCA Leadoff Classic went for the ladies for the softball side of things. Sorry, I'm making notes on what we've talked about, so I can try and add this in. I don't know if we'll have chapters on this episode. We'll see. And then, of course, talking about let's talk Lady Tops real quick on Law Tech side of things. What are you thinking tonight, Matt? Is it pretty good or is it going to be pretty grim?
Well, I hope it better be pretty good. I mean, La Tech women's basketball is not that great. I think were they 2-5 in conference? I hadn't pulled up my stuff, but I believe 2-5.
Yeah, I'm actually got to pull mine up. I thought I had it pulled up, but I
Know
don't.
your Conference USA women's basketball standings by heart, Devin. Well,
Law Tech is 5 games back for the women. We
yes,
are 3.5 now, so we've gone down like a
significantly.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone down.
So here's the thing: is like, obviously you hope that that the Lady Top should, in theory, should beat a team that is near the bottom of the conference. However, they've lost 4 out of 5, and including a freaking disastrous loss to Sam Houston, who had not won a Division I game since December 1st.
Uh,
They were 0-6, and now they are 1-7. You're
mm,
welcome, Sam Houston, because they used the Lady Tops to get off the schneid. And here's the worst part: is Western had, let me look back. I can't remember if it was 18 or 19 point lead, but it was horrifying. They ended up losing in overtime. I mean, they had multiple chances to make this thing right, and they just didn't do it. It was
get out.
terrible to behold. Let me see how bad it was. They were up 11 in the second half, 13 with 3:38 left in the third. I'm pretty sure up 14 at the end of the third. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it got that late that they were in double digits. Oh man, yeah, okay. So I wasn't following this fully because we had I think the other game was going on, but
Probably.
yeah, it was. The boys were playing at the same time because obviously we were in Diddle and stuff. It was 68-50 with 7:57 left in the game against a team that had not won in 2 months against Division I opponent. Melt
Yep.
down that lead, go to overtime, had a chance to figure stuff out in overtime, screwed that up and ended up losing by 6 to a team that's 6-13 overall and now 1-7.
Good Lord.
Yeah, really, really, really bad loss, really bad timing because now I feel like Collins heading into Greg Collins, of course, head coach of Lady Tops, heading into this season was, he'd done a good job last year. He pulled the team together and was able to get them to finish second. Pretty much well behind Middle. Middle was
Yeah.
the clear best team, but it was like, okay, this is a positive step. We made the championship. Good things going on. But he still has kind of that undercurrent of like massive underachievement.
Yeah.
Um, he took over a good program. He was the assistant on Michelle Clark Hurd's staff. He takes straight over for her and hasn't won a championship in working on 6 years.
Good
And
Lord.
only got second last year and only made the championship last year.
Wow.
So not a lot of achievement going on. He's had some WNIT runs. Like they went to the round of 16 once, won a game once, I think. And so, but other than that, there was really no significant success in his tenure. Well, this team was looking like a legit contender 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then it's just completely disintegrated. We were 3-0 in conference. Now we're 4-4. That includes some home losses, and that includes the loss to Sam Houston. There were excusable losses to Middle. Obviously, Middle blew us out, but they blow everybody out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm thrilled with that, but it's understandable that you lose to Middle. But also losing to FIU after having a chance in that game and just not really pulling it off. Barely beat UTEP. That's the only win they've had in the last 5 games, and they had to get a buzzer beater from Destiny's Salary to even make that happen. So just really bad signs. Losing to New Mexico State and scoring 44, really bad signs. So hopefully, you asked if it should be glorious and if it should be a good game or if it's going to be misery. I sure hope that they get their act together, take care of business, and get back on the right track. But there's no guarantees when you lose to a team that hadn't won in 2 months.
Yeah.
La Tech is second to last right now. Western could easily establish themselves as probably the third best team in Conference USA or fourth with Liberty, who's now 5-3 in conference. But God, they got to pull it together. It's getting rough.
Is there an issue with maybe it's a toxic locker room or something like that could be causing this? I mean, I know you said a few weeks ago they were arguing, but
during the New Mexico State game, there was visible infighting with several players and staff. Most of it surrounded, not to like name names or whatever, but I think it's fair to say it was obvious that a lot of it centered around Destiny's salary. I don't know why. She might have just been pissed off. She might have just had a bad day. I don't know. Got a bad grade in one of her classes. I don't know. But like there was visible, like they were like jabbering with each other the whole game. And like, making those like motions and pointing and whatever. And so yeah, it was weird to see. Like you don't see that in the middle of games between teammates and staff. And
Yeah.
that's fair to say that it's weird to like know that that's going on. And it kind of continued the whole game. So, but I haven't seen any of that since then. I was told that maybe it was squashed, the day after in practice and make them run and they get over it. But obviously, there's no explanation for why a team that was playing well together all of a sudden has no injuries and nobody that's really sitting out. There were a few people that have sat out, but it wasn't like major disaster type of stuff. And then all of a sudden they just lose 4 out of 5. And you have
Yeah.
people infighting. I don't know what the deal is, but they need to get it together and move on.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm deeply
You've got
concerned.
to, yeah, you've got to definitely, figure out how to move forward as a team. And I think that's part of the coach's job is to, either squash it or make them put on some gloves and punch it out and get it over with and be done with it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, coaches want to complain to us about, or complain about us. Well, you are the one that got me fired, and I mean that's some of us, mostly Matt. But anyway,
What are you even talking about?
nothing. A long time ago. Anyway, so but you don't have anything to complain about if you don't do something about it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Coaches have to do stuff if they want to keep their jobs. This is part of your job, is making sure that teams have good cohesion, make things work. Yeah, you can have all 5 stars, and if they can't get along and they all try to play the game by themselves, it's not going to work. Basketball is a very individualistic sport, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to pass. You have to be able to do the small things and win.
True.
So,
Well, I think we looked at it last week when you
yeah,
were looking at stats last week, and I think you pointed out exactly what the issue is: rebounding and turnovers.
yeah,
Um, you can't play good basketball without some fundamentals and
yeah,
turn over the basketball and not being able to get the basketball off the glass to either extend your possession or to end the possession kind of makes it difficult to win.
yeah. But that worked for last week, but this week, like the stats are saying other stuff. Um, you know, we should have beaten Sam Houston. We should have just
There's no
metaphorically
excuse.
put your foot on the throat and be done with them. Now, middle, it doesn't look like we could have hit a 3-pointer if they had the little toddler goals. So,
The
I mean,
middle is just really good. I mean,
yeah,
it's frustrating how big of a gap there is, and there shouldn't be.
they're yeah,
Um,
it was
but yeah,
bad.
unfortunately, Rick Inbred is a good coach. But little Keebler elf fella and his oddly stalkerish son. But
Oh, good lord.
but anyway, um, I mean, it's just frustrating to see that kind of gap between Western and Middle. The bottom line is like I want to see improvement. I want to see the continuing of what looked like a positive. Like this was like looking like a group that could do something in March. Like I
Yeah,
started making plans to go to Huntsville, and I'm going, but like part of a big reason why was the girls.
yeah,
I'm thinking like one of these two teams is going to make a championship. Now, fast forward 2 weeks from when I basically committed to doing that.
yeah,
I don't know if either one of them is going to make a championship run.
yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, it's not funny, but looking at the stats, uh, Lady Tops versus MTSU, we shot 16% from 3-point land. We shot 30% from field goal in general. We had 13 turnovers and 34 rebounds. Now, on middle side, they shot 45%. So that's almost 50% of their shots went in. And then they shot 36.3 or so 36% from 3-point land, They only had 8 turnovers, and they had 42 rebounds. Like, that's like amazingly good. It just blows me away how well they played, how well Middle played, and I hate complimenting them. But when you beat a team by nearly 40 points, what do you expect to happen? This is what we're looking at. So,
Wow, this is interesting. I was looking at their minutes. They played basically 5 players just about the whole game.
wow, that's
They played
amazing.
they played 2 girls the full 40 minutes. Another girl was out for 22 seconds. Another girl played 37. Another girl played 33:47. Then they had 3 players that played less than 5 minutes each. So they basically just said, screw you.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are
We're
throwing out
gonna
our
run the
best
table.
5 and we're not resting anybody and we're going to kill you by 40. And they did
Yep.
it.
Yeah. Evidently, um they weren't gonna let off the gas, that's for sure.
Wow.
And it's probably because their assistant coach heard you say that or the coach heard you say his son looked like a creeper. So,
Yeah. Blame it on me, everybody. I'm sorry.
um, so Western is going to be playing La Tech tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So, obviously we're not going to be talking about that game on this episode, but we will be talking about it next week, and then we will be playing. Lady Tops have Jacksonville State. Both of these games are going to be in Diddle Arena, and so tonight 7:30 p.m. So you should have been there, and then then Jacksonville State is going to be on Saturday. I'm assuming the 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let me see if I can get my mouse over here.
They do have like a sports clinic
That
before
is the 10th.
on Saturday. It's 11 to 1. I don't know if you had that in your notes,
I
but
do not, but I will make a note.
that's okay. But before the Lady Tops. And so we were talking about maybe taking our girls over there. But I think it's like 2 hours and they're doing like a all sports clinic type of thing. It should be pretty fun. So maybe bring your kids out and then come to the Lady Topper game right after and hopefully watch us beat Jacksonville State. Get back off the schneid.
Just making a note real quick of your Lady Tops clinic.
Yeah. Should be some links on the website and should be able to find it on Twitter, etc.
Okay, that'll be really interesting. And then of course next week they play UTEP on that. That's a Thursday, the 15th.
So we'll be able to
And
talk about that.
we can talk about that one then. We will recap against La Tech and Jacksonville State. So, men's basketball, a little bit brighter over on the men's side of things as we
Yeah.
talk about basketball. And, Western did lose to Sam Houston State 79-77, and Western did beat MTSU 88-65, which you've got to love that.
Oh yeah.
I'm
It
sorry.
was nice.
Anytime you beat them,
It was nice, and it was all in the second half. So Western was tied at
yes.
halftime, ended up winning by 23, and it was the largest margin over middle since like 1983.
Which, by the way, the only thing that would make that better is if we scored 100 points against Middle. I'm just saying. That's the only thing that would make that game so much sweeter.
Well, I wish that we could put together 2 halves. Like
Yes.
it was honestly like they were sleepwalking through the first half. I don't know if it's completely that way, but there were definitely times where it's like, come on, like we're sitting here, we're at home, middle sucks, and it was, and they really do suck. They're terrible this year,
They do, yeah.
and the effort wasn't really there. Like it wasn't like they weren't playing hard, but they weren't playing their best. They weren't
Yeah.
really locked in. It was just kind of like going through the motions. And middle was playing pretty well for how bad they are, and they
Yeah.
were they were pretty engaged, and they were the harder playing team, and consequently they go in tied at half. Then in the second half we woke up and shut them the heck down. But I just wish that you could you could bottle that energy that you have at spurts and
Yeah.
spread it out over the whole game.
I
You
agree.
know?
I mean, and the thing is, especially against like Sam Houston, you've got Western essentially dominated the first half, basically. And then the majority of the Sam Houston game, they dominated, except for, there was a smidge right there early in the second half, like 15 minutes to go, where Sam Houston kind of tied it up, and then Western kind of took off again, had another little spurt. And then, like you said, right there towards the end, right at the 59-second mark, Sam Houston pulled away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where was it? It was right at the end of the first half. Was a key moment for me because Western had a double-digit lead. I think it may have been as much as 13 in the first half. I can't remember. It's either 13 or 11 or whatever, but a double-digit lead in the half, and right at the end, Sam Houston made a little spurt and ended up being down only 4 at halftime. And I thought that was a huge moment because Western clearly outplayed Sam Houston, clearly deserved or whatever to be up by more than 4, yet Sam Houston found some way to kind of claw back in where it's basically even. And then from there, it was a dogfight. Well, if Western had been able to go into halftime with an 8, 9, 10-point lead, it changes the dynamic of the whole game where Sam Houston has to come out and make a run to be in the game versus you come out at halftime, Western scores 4 or 5, and they take complete control. And so it was a big moment where, I think, I don't remember the breakdown of who had what in the first and second half, but Western had some guys that played well in the first half, but nothing was really there to show for it but a 4-point lead. When you have guys play well, you want that to translate on the scoreboard, or it kind of makes you be like, uh-oh. Like, for example, against Middle, Don McHenry had 2 points at halftime, and it's like, okay, if McHenry goes off, it's going to be hard for Middle to win this game. Well, guess what? He went off for 20 points in the second half. Western wins by 23. Well, you have guys that played well in the first half, and you still only go up 4. That kind of sends off alarm bells like, we're going to have to really buckle down here in the second half, or they're going to find a way to overcome this. And what happened? Their guy that had not scored all game, douchebag, what is his name? Number 3, Lamar Wilkerson.
Yes.
He had 0 points the whole freaking game. He ends up with 6. All 3 buckets helped them take leads at the end of the game. He hit 3 straight shots to end the game after doing nothing. It doesn't matter what they did before. It matters that they explode when they need to. When they're able to just come out and drop in the points that they need at the right moment, it doesn't matter if they had a crappy game. The man came in, credit to him, dropped in 3 buckets and won the game for him.
Yeah. And that's frustrating because it's that late charge that you're not really expecting. Like you said, that guy that really doesn't do a lot, but that's where you are,
And he was 3 for 15 on the game, had 3 game-changing plays that ended up deciding the end of that game. Unfortunately, what shouldn't have happened is they shouldn't have been that close, and Western should have already been up by 10 when he started making that run. Then they wouldn't have lost. So that was kind of the certainly the carryover from the road games and everything. Kind of had the same issue. Middle, it was nice to see against a rival. They got a lead in the second half and they stomped on their throat and didn't look back.
Yeah. And that's what always makes it feel good. Is beating Middle and sending them back to Murfreesboro, which is the 135th worst town.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
In college athletics. Honestly, it makes you feel good to know that the back fat of Middle is continuing. But if you look at the stats against Middle, Western shot 50% from the field, legitimately 50%, 42% from 3-point land, 9 turnovers, 38 rebounds. So you really can't beat those numbers, especially the 9 turnovers. That is really, really good. The only thing that would, and of course, Western pulled away at half, legitimately. And that's one of those things you wish you could have seen against Sam Houston, because I feel like Sam Houston has called in a voodoo priest or something, and that's the only way they beat us in that game. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you what it is. Their interior defense it makes
Yes.
it really hard for us to get inside, and that it makes life difficult. And I think Babacar really struggles against Sam Houston. They're
Yeah.
physical, and they just really give him in particular a tough time. Rod didn't have as let me see, let me look before I put my foot in my mouth. He didn't have as big of a game. He's had some big games, and he's been really good lately. But just
Yeah.
the overall attrition of having a really good interior defense just makes it hard to get over the hump against them. And
Yeah.
also, what I was talking about, I remember the thing that stuck out in my mind. We had 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 against Sam Houston, and only went away with a 4-point lead. Tell me how often you're going to have a 3-turnover half and not be way ahead against whoever it is. And to also tell me how you're going to come out in the second half and not have 7, 8, 9 turnovers to even that out. And you've got to find a way to not give up 4 points on the opponent, who really is, you're going to need some luck to overcome that issue. So, and
Yeah,
we were able to overcome it.
that's tough. Those are really tough. I mean, like you said, being that low on turnovers and then having to, I mean, normally, like you said, normally you'd be in really good shape. You've got that low of turnovers at half, you're in good shape. And when when the switch is flipped and you're like, this isn't making a difference at all,
Mm-hmm.
then you got to go, okay, where are we at otherwise?
Yeah.
What do we need to, what do we need? What do we need? Where are we at here?
Right.
But we've got Law Tech, which I did not realize until somebody said it earlier that Law Tech is a 10-point favorite in this game,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the fact that we have not won at Law Tech in 25 years. That is wild. I mean, I guess I just didn't realize it's been that long.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for those of you wondering, no, that is not 1989. That is 1999. But yeah, that is a very crazy stat for me. That it's been since 1999, since before Y2K, that Western has won against La Tech at La Tech in
Yeah,
Shreveport, Louisiana, or wherever the hell it is.
it's Ruston. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
was messing around. Okay.
so yeah, I mean, it's a tough place to play. And I
Yeah.
don't, because sometimes they don't have tons of fans. They don't have like 10,000 people there just rocking the roof off. It's just a tough place to play, and they do get loud for how many people they have there. And this year they're really good. So part of it is just they're undefeated at home, but it's just because they're really good this year. And I think they're probably the class of the league. They're one of the few teams that's won some legit road games against anybody that's any good. They've only got 1 loss in conference right now. Everybody else has at least 2. But obviously we know Western is capable of winning this game. It's not impossible. Even
Yeah.
if they don't have Lander, they've played well enough in some of these games that you could say they could beat anybody in Conference USA, even what's potentially the best team. I think the thing that's made La Tech stand out this year is they have a legit Power 5 transfer in his last name's Stocko. Forget his first name. Like Jonathan or something.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind. Bacho. I'm sorry. Daniel Bacho. See, I'm sorry, guys. Something Bacho, what anyway, Daniel Bacho, this guy has him and Isaiah Crawford. They're both presences down low. Crawford is 6'6", Bacho is 6'11". They're both shooting over 50% on the year. Isaiah Crawford can shoot threes as well. They shoot free throws well enough. They both score 15 points a game. They both rebound at least 6 a game, and Bacho gets 10 and a half.
Wow.
They both block at least 1.5 times a game. Bacho blocks over 2 times a game. Crawford is 6'6" and has 45 steals on the year. He gets more than 2 steals a game.
Wow.
He is a positive assist to turnover. So they have 2 legit, like, player of the year type of players on their squad. And Crawford was the preseason player of the year. Bacho is probably the favorite to actually win it, but they're both legit, both big bodies that I think we're going to have real trouble matching up with both of them. I think we could handle one of them,
Yeah.
but we have both on the court. How do you put out enough bodies and not have them foul out to handle these two guys? So I think that's going to be one of your keys to watch out for is, can we find some way to not get in foul trouble, A, and B, to slow them down a little bit? Like if they go for more than 30 combined, that's going to be tough for Western to overcome. That's what they average.
Yeah.
They go above their average, they're the better team. It's probably unlikely that they're going to have other stuff go that bad that they can't figure out a way to win when their guys play well. So we need to
I
find a way to
will
get them to struggle.
I will tell you, I was just looking, I was trying to find some like stat leaders for certain teams and stuff on ESPN, but what I found was, I'm going to pull this over here so I can actually face our viewers. Um, Fun fact, uh, I'll let you guess. Who do you think is the offensive leader in Conference USA right now?
And like points scored.
Points per game. And this is a team, not a individual player specifically.
Oh, the team is. I know Western's up there.
It is Western,
Yeah.
80.7 points.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is La Tech at 76.2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
Liberty is 75.3, Florida International's 4, and UTEP is 5. Defensive leaders. This is points
not
allowed per
Western.
game.
Not
It's
Western.
not Western. Western's not in the top 5.
Yeah.
It is La Tech at 62.7 points. Number
Yeah.
2 is Liberty. So another interesting one. And then number 5 again is the UTEP Miners. And then Middle Tennessee is number 4. I don't know that one. I don't know how that one worked out for them.
Well,
Field
they
goal percentage. Tops are
Latex.
leading that one. Tops leading the field goal percentage, and tops are leading the rebounds at 40. Thought that was kind of an interesting stat as well.
But La Tech is like right behind Western in rebounds at like 39.
39.9.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically even there.
Interesting. I
So
mean, basically, the field goal percentage is pretty even too. So I am going to try to get this episode up for our patrons. So if you're a member of the Patreon, you can get a little bit of early access to this. Do you think the money line is good to put on Western tonight? Not over under, just money line. Western's plus 400. So that means $100 in, you get 400 back.
betting that Western's going to win outright.
Oh, you know the crazy Western cokehead fan in you is going, bet it, bet the damn game.
Go Tops. Gosh. I
It
I want it with all my heart. I would love for Western to beat La Tech. There's
not
no
in this economy.
not in this economy. Yeah, I mean, with all my heart, I would love to just be confident and pick Western, but I don't think it's reasonable. I mean, you could pick Western and say that it's going to happen, but not with confidence. I mean,
Yeah.
Especially if Lander's out, that's just
Yeah.
another layer of difficulty where you're missing 2 guards. The 2 guards could honestly help outweigh the issue you might have down low.
Yeah.
You could probably win on the perimeter if you had Lander, but if you don't, then you're kind of more even with them on the perimeter, and then down low, you're relying on Rodney Howard to continue shooting 90% from the field, and
Good
you
Lord.
need Babacar to go crazy too, or you're going to have a mismatch there. I mean, it's just a tough matchup for me when you have like you're thin down low, anyway.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 guys that are going to make it so stressful down low that you're probably going to have some people get in foul trouble. And then who do you play down low to deal with 2 superstars?
Yeah.
So another thing that needs to happen, Brandon Newman cannot disappear for 0 like he
Yeah.
did against Middle. Yeah, you won by 23 against Middle. You ain't gonna come close to beating La Tech without your guys. Like, you can't have a starter that does 0.
Yeah.
He had a couple of assists and he had a couple other things going on, but you got to have your guys do something offensively if you're going to pull off an upset on the road.
Yeah.
So I see trouble.
Yeah, it could be trouble. So short answer there, don't bet the tops. Over under spread could be interesting, but
I mean,
looks like
I might consider taking the the plus 9.5 or 10 or whatever it ends up being. I might consider that one, but not betting Western outright. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So Lady Tops, just to recap, that game is at Diddle tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central, and it's on ESPN Plus for those of you who cannot make it. And then on Saturday, the girls are going to be playing Jacksonville State. As Matt told already, there is a clinic beforehand. That game is going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. So check that out if you are not able to make it to the game. Support the Lady Tops best you can. And then the guys are going to be playing La Tech tonight, 7 p.m. That's a 10-point spread. Essentially, it's 9.5 now, so it has come down. That game is on ESPN Plus, 7 p.m. Eastern. Only true fans go to the game. Don't forget that. And let's see. It doesn't matter if it's in Ruston, Louisiana or not. You should go.
You ever been to Ruston, Devin?
God, no. I went to
I have.
We've been to Monroe and I was at Lafayette and we landed in Baton Rouge in New Orleans. We drove by New Orleans when I was at Western.
Yep.
Or New Orleans.
I've been to Ruston, buddy. You remember that 59-10 debacle?
Yes.
When Braun was coach? Stephanie and I went to that game. It
Sounds
was a
like a great
complete waste
honeymoon.
of time. 59-10, we go all that way.
Yeah.
And
this will be a great game. And you're like, well, let's go to the car. I think it's over now.
Oh my gosh, it was miserable.
By halftime, right?
Yeah. Oh man, we got murdered.
And then of course, like I said, Western's playing Jacksonville State on Saturday. That is in Jacksonville, Alabama, the big metropolis of Jacksonville, Alabama.
You want any quick comments on that?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Since we didn't talk about it really at all.
Yeah, well, we ran out of time there. So,
but it's just another.
And with the new format, I was kind of worried about it.
Well,
I was worried we're going to get cut off, but we're actually past the hours mark, so I think we're okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey. So, anyway, it's another road game. Hopefully, we can split this. Honestly, I assume we're probably going to lose against La Tech. I mean, just being honest. But Jacksonville State should be a winnable-ish game. It's another tough one though, and I don't think we're favored.
No, we're not.
Yeah. So I mean, but you really, if Western is going to remotely keep pace, they cannot come back to Diddle 4-6. But ESPN only gives us a 32.9% chance of winning, so not good.
No, sure.
Hey,
they don't have the spread set up yet for Jacksonville State. But I mean, I think Western would be a definite possibility to win that one. So
yeah, there's definitely more on the table for that one than La Tech, and La Tech is on the table. But when you're favored, when you're expected to lose by double digits, you're probably not going to end up winning that game.
Yeah, it would be very, very difficult to do. But yes, come back next week. If you want to support the Towel Rack or Red Out, you can subscribe on the Towel Racks. Doohickey, and you can go on patreon.com and support us there as well. We appreciate your support. And like always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Buddy, I appreciate you. You're welcome. There we go.